Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today I'm going to be doing something I haven't done before. I'm going to interview two directors at the same time on their projects. First of all, I have with us Jason Brooks. He is a writer and director of a new flick that's called The Death of Snow White. And I also have Peter Anthony. He is the writer and director of Laugh. Peter, Jason, welcome to the Horror Room.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, man. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure having you guys on. I mean, the trailers look amazing. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Jason, I'm going to shoot it to you first. Tell us a little bit about The Death of Snow White.
Yeah, so The Death of Snow White, it's a fun one. It came out of nowhere a little bit. Our executive producer, Sean Lucis, one of his favorite movies was Snow White. His daughter kind of born to play it. We worked with Sanaya quite a bit. And we thought, you know what? Let's do it. Let's make the movie, We first thought, we do horror movie. Let's throw together a quick horror film version of that. And as we got into it, we started talking about it, coming up with a story, a script. And the more we got into that, the more it became more of a dark fantasy with horror, like strong horror elements. And we found some gaps in past movies that haven't been touched on. We found like little strings of story that haven't been told. And we were able to pull together kind of a really solid new retelling of that same story. So you still have some familiar characters, familiar faces, but with new plot points and new backstories and everything like that. So, and also we were making our dwarves killer. So they're going to be very, very malicious. And I'm looking forward to seeing them with their brand of horror.
Jason, are you willing to talk about the variation of one of the dwarfs at this point, or no?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
So I just wanted to ask. Yeah.
Now, did you have to worry about a copyright issue, or is Snow White?
Snow White is up public domain. It's a Grimm Brothers story from the 1800s. It's out there. There's certain things that Disney owns that we're not touching. Some of the names, some characters, things like that. Some of the aesthetics that we're just not going to use. But that's why you can look out there and see there's tons of other Snow White content that's been done, cartoons and live action stories, different things like that.
Now, what did you? Now, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the whole Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Terrible. Yes. Thank you.
It's a really bad. If you ask me, it's a really, really bad movie that they just threw on a mask and called it that to get money. I mean, I don't blame them. It's a cash grab. But
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I'm part of the horror audience, horror fan, and after seeing that, now anything that's up for public domain, we're kind of wary. So, What are you going to do, Jason? That's going to, put that to rest and not be a Winnie the Pooh cash grab?
Good question.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that is obviously what people are going to think. That's what we also have, those same thoughts, and that's one of the things is like, should we do this? Should we take the time? I mean, Disney's making one coming out at the same time. And really it's like, yeah, we could do that cash grab where we just make a crappy Snow White horror thing and just do a bunch of killing. And, nobody wanted that. We don't want that. We love story. We love characters. We love aesthetics, the way things look. And like I said, as we got into it, rather than doing that quick little horror thing, the story just developed into something kind of beautiful. And so there's some heartfelt moments. There's some really tense, scary moments. And we go into some topics in there that haven't been covered. This is not a cash grab. This is really, we're world building here and creating a new universe for Snow White to live in. And I'm really excited about it. And it has opened itself up to more stories within that same world. So it's definitely putting a lot of attention on story with respect to the characters and the original content from the Grimm Brothers, which I don't think Winnie the Pooh has done. That was like, any slasher movie, throw on a Winnie the Pooh mask. And, good for them. And that's kind of a case study. They did really good. They were very successful with what they did. I'm hoping that, we could find the same success or more by paying more attention to the original content and respect to the characters and everything like that, while bringing in some really brutal horror into that mix. Because those original Grimm stories, those were not really, for kids. Those were scary. You ask any person who grew up on those out in Europe, they're like, yeah, I can't believe we heard this when we were a child.
I do. The Wizard of Oz scared me when I was a kid. Those little flying monkeys. Yeah. Yeah. So, and if I may, Jason, also the thing with Jason's amazing script is it was written from the ground up with that idea and that theme, where Blood and Honey was just a slasher and then added in the aesthetics of the mask and the name. If you ask me, my opinion, nothing against those guys, but this is different. And like what Jason's talking about is culturing a world and having other possible sequels and other spin-offs. And this is a big thing that we're all doing. So me, Jason, Sean, Cody Newton are all kind of like, and Naomi are teaming up to make like several films, 259, Laugh, this film. Jason has more films coming up, and just make like a family of films and move forward. It's a long-term plan that we have. It's not just a one cash and grab.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to ask this question. It's actually for the both of you.
Sure.
How amazing is it to have other filmmakers to bounce ideas off and work on new projects?
Oh, it's invaluable.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known and worked with some people who their idea is the only idea, which really puts them in a box because you can't expand beyond that. So you're that person's own limitations. So, I might have an idea, and I like with the first version of the script. We're on version 5 or 6 now, and the first version of it, I thought it was great, and I was so excited to share it. And then I share it with these guys, and then Cody comes back. He's like, "Yeah, but why this character?" He's like, "This is good, and you could put this out this way. It's a really good story. I was invested. I read it straight through, and it's exciting. But what if we expand this person? What if we expand that story? What if we connect these dots and stuff?" And I go back, and I'm like, "Yeah." And then that just led to more creativity. And so having these guys to bounce it off of, just really. There's some good checks and balances, so you can make sure that you're not missing anything. You don't have any gaps or holes. All the characters have their proper arcs or their story, their attention. It's just really good to have these creative people. Peter's a really analytical thinker, so he likes everything, ducks in a row. So he brings a certain value to that. Cody's very creative, very visual. He loves story. He loves character development, so he makes sure that we're covered on there. Naomi. Very good at story, very good at visuals as well, very good at some of the grammar details and everything. It just really, and then Sean and Sanaya, they love the content. They are giant fans. They follow the message boards. They go to Disneyland all the time. They grew up with this content, and they're making sure we stay in line with what the fans want and what they want as fans. So it's really. I don't know how we could do this without them. I think that the success of this is going to be because of the team.
That's amazing. And I'm assuming you. So go ahead, Peter.
If I may jump in on that, the success we have had is because of that too. And Jason's right too, and it teaches you to be more mature, because when you come up with this thing and you work your ass off and you write really hard, you put so much thought into it. Even the trailer, right? So when we get done with my trailer's done, his trailer, and you send the trailer out to you. You're so proud, and you send it to all your people, everything, and then they love you by telling you it is great. But what about this, this, and this, and this? And the hard part in the beginning is to get over the fact that they're not knocking your work. They're trying to help your work, So like you sit back and you breathe, and then you look at it all. And then we keep doing that. When I always say 2 heads are better than 1, 3, 4, 5. That's what we keep doing and getting better and better and better like that. We listen, even sometimes when we disagree at it, and sometimes, we do disagree, but then you move on from it. Most of the time it's better when I don't know any of the ideas that we all got together that it didn't get better somehow.
Yeah, every project we have, we've learned constantly that when we're open to feedback and open to someone else's suggestion, every project we've had has been bettered by the collective feedback.
I'll give you a quick example of that, Travis, too. We shot Laugh 5 days trailer. And then we're here at my house. I'm upside down. Ice in my knee. Jason will remember this, right? Because my knee's destroyed. And we're watching the dailies or a little bit of it. And Jason and Cody go, hey, what about how if you just change your whole rest of your film? And blank. And everything you were going to do, we're not going to do because this is so successful. And there I am, like upside down. And I'm like, and then they showed me, and then I'm like, yeah, we could still mix in what I want to mix in story-wise, but we can really push it forward fast and go along this visual look, which is what we have. So, and that's a huge change.
Right.
What I think, because you don't really know what you have until you see it on film. That's like the magic of filmmaking, right? Do you agree? Right? And that's what it was. We had something magical with that look.
And I was really, we were all excited to work on Laugh. We all liked what we were doing. And we love making movies, telling stories. And when we were working on Laugh, we were just kind of like, we're doing what we love. And then when we got to this certain part that Peter's talking about, that got everyone like overly excited. Like, we are passionate now about this. Like, this is something that we didn't expect to happen. We didn't expect to feel this. And so we just felt very compelled. We talked about it and told Peter, like this got us like super excited. So this is success. This feels like the right direction. And then we got just elated. So anyway.
Yeah.
I can imagine it's so important to surround yourself with individuals who don't mind giving you constructive criticism compared to being surrounded around a bunch of yes men and women.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're in the trenches with us. Jason and Sean and Cody, we're in there 15, 16, 17, 18 hours. We're hurt, and so like you earn a respect for each other just by that. It's almost like a military foxhole kind of situation. Mm-hmm. So they've been there since the beginning. So they have merit. You trust them.
Now, Jason, one last question about your movie. So you definitely want to put us into the lore of Snow White. Now, are we going to be seeing a lot of classic Snow White characters?
Oh, yes. Definitely a lot of the characters. We have Huntsman, we have Snow White, we got the Prince, we have the King and Queen. We go into a little bit of story about them. The Evil Queen, of course, the dwarves. We have all that going in there. And we introduce a couple of new characters to help with the story as well. But we will definitely be sticking with some of the classics and telling that. But just, in a darker way with like real consequences and real horror. A lot of body horror in this one. So
nice. Now I understand that, Peter, you have a role in The Death of Snow White.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it because Jason gets mad when I give anything away. So I do have a smaller supporting role, but it's pretty cool. I won't get into it, but I like looking different in every single role that I do, whether I get heavy or thinner or beard or no beard or whatever. And I'm not going to say, but in this one, I'm going to look different again. I love stuff like that,
Yeah, I love acting. Peter loves acting. So we try to give each other some roles in these things, but it can't be too big because, Peter's got a lot of work to do on this as a producer and in marketing and everything. I've got a lot of work with writing and directing, producing. So we got to make sure that we keep it, bite-sized so that we can still get our chance to get out there and be in there and act because that's one of our passions, but still do our other jobs appropriately. So, but it'll be fun. I like the character that we have for him, and it'll be fun.
Hey, Jason, is Naomi in it?
Naomi's upstairs doing some other work.
No, is she in the film?
Oh, not right now. No, Naomi doesn't like to act very much. It's funny because they're getting a lot of acting roles.
Yeah.
And getting put into some places, but I'm sure that there could be a handmaiden or something if it comes down to it. But yeah, I've asked Naomi, and no, I'm good. And Naomi, for some you don't know, is my partner and also the lead makeup artist for special effects and makeup and everything for
nice.
This movie and Laugh and Friday the 13th Vengeance too and everything. So very, very talented, beautiful individual.
Yeah.
Amazing. Now, by both of you acting, does that help you on the other side of the camera as well?
Yeah, for me. I mean, you can go first, Jason.
No, I think absolutely. And I know that Tom McLaughlin, we've worked with him a few times. He's kind of mentioned it too. Like, you kind of have to know how to act if you're going to direct someone, how to act, and for me, I feel like from the outside, I might be a better director than actor because I can see the performance. I might know how to drive the car. I just don't know how to fix it, kind of a thing. But I can see when a performance is good or bad, or it might need some work or something. And luckily we have Cody Newton, who is a director. He's like a phenomenal director first. He's our DP. So it helps to have him have his eye as a director of photography, have him on set backing me up, like when I'm in costume or if I'm on set acting, he kind of takes over. So we have multiple eyes, and Peter too. We all have these eyes on it. So if we catch little things that could be enhanced or better, we've all got each other's back, and we can all jump in. So, yeah.
It's the same with me. The best compliment I ever got from one of my actors is saying, I like working with Peter because he directs actors like he likes to be directed. And I was like, oh man, that makes me feel better than anything else. Is it, I just little things here and there. I watch all these videos on Quentin and all these different directors, and it's like, I'm such Jason can tell you this. I'm so like detail orientated that in my mind, I want to tell them everything they're doing right or wrong, but you can't. You got to give them this space and then tell them. Jason knows this. I'm big on number system. I'm like, you're at a 4. You need to be at about a 6 or a 7 energy right now. And I think like when you tell them that little bit, all the words that you want changed and emotion kind of changes with, at least for me, that's like the little direction like that. You can't like over direct them because then they're thinking about what to do and they'll mess up. Same with me as an actor. But yeah, it's funner to act. For me, it's funner to act. It's more stressful, obviously, to direct. But at the end result of directing, I think it's a better payoff at the end when your film is released. It's like a family feeling and event. That's a bigger payoff than acting, I think.
All right, so Peter, I'm going to shoot over next. Tell us a little bit about Laugh. I seen the trailer and that looks insane.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so what can we talk about? It's just basically like a descent into madness. The character Peter Collymore, which is me. My father's Terry Kaiser. His name is Bartholomew Collymore. He's a war veteran. I'm a war veteran. And basically, there's so much to the movie, but it's a descent into madness. It's a guy with a family who has this PTSD. He can't laugh. And you kind of throughout the whole movie figure out why he can't laugh and what are the details of that. And along the way, he loses a lot of his life and people and things. And all these circumstances kind of set him off to basically change his character into a whole different character at the end. It's basically the struggle of every man's soul between good and evil. The choices you make, how do they pay off? That's kind of what Laugh is in a very visual way.
So with such a powerful story, what gave you the inspiration?
It's kind of off my life a little bit. So with my stepson no longer being around and kind of things I went through with my life and friends with drug abuse and my ex with drug abuse and injuries and pain and fighting demons, it's kind of like a little microcosm of my life is how I originated it. Because I feel like I could never really write a story that crazy unless I had some feeling of it. So that's how it originated. And just the whole good versus evil. I always feel like I never like the movies that are so clean. Even though I like Spielberg movies, life is never black and white, good and bad like that. All of us have a little bad, a little good. We all look at things we did that we don't like. We look at things we did we do like. There's always this constant struggle and battle. Nothing's ever pretty or beautiful or perfect. And that's kind of how this movie is, showing the different sides of all of us like that all the time.
And Peter, I'm going to hit you with this question first. Is it hard as a writer and filmmaker not to put a little bit of yourself in your projects?
For me, I think it's the key to do it. For me, because only because of the passion end of it. I just don't know how you don't do it without even your character too. Like a little bit of you as that person. For me, I think is ideal. I mean, there might be other writers or directors that are totally different, but for me, it's essential.
And Jason?
Yeah, as far as like writing, I draw from my own experiences. I think everyone does. And that's kind of where you can build on emotion sometimes. But I also draw from experiences of other friends, things I've seen people go through, things I've helped be the support for someone who's gone through something, and that sort of thing. But I think a lot of it does come from just your own experience because that's what you know.
Now, is it hard right now, horror is having a huge influx. I mean, especially in indie horror, it's big. Once again, it's coming age. Is it hard to remain creative and to put something out there that I know it's impossible to make something completely brand new, but is it hard not to put your own little spin or your own little spices on your project? I
don't think so. I think that the way that my mind works, when I sit down and start writing something, I'm like, what has not been done? What's not been told? Like, what are the gaps? Like, we haven't heard about this. We haven't heard about that. There's always these open questions. And whenever you watch a movie, a lot of times when you watch a movie, it's like, well, why did that happen? Who was that? And how come they didn't go back and touch on that? So those are the things that I always tend to pick up on, for better or worse. And I kind of focus on those. Snow White, the mother and the father. Like, why have we not known much about them? What happened to them, and what was their role in things? And the evil queen, why is she this way? What's going on? Why were the dwarves banished? And so those are some of the things I delve into there. And then with other movies, the same sort of thing, like all the plot holes I like to fill them. So I guess you find new creativity in that, and there's a lot of creativity in bridging those gaps. So sometimes they almost seem impossible to bridge. It's like there's no way you can get from here to here. And I know Peter did that with Roseblood too, with some of those things between different Friday the 13th movies. You just kind of fill some of those gaps and answer those open questions. So
Yeah. And with Laugh, I'm trying to basically do an original, but I mean, I don't know anything it copies after, but you'd be lying as a director to say you don't draw inspiration from. Like I was telling Jason, there's a scene, there's inspiration from American Werewolf in London that inspired me for a scene, but that's everybody. Quentin Tarantino, all these directors, they grew up watching Hitchcock or somebody else. They always get this inspiration. So same with me. There's nothing that I'm definitely like knocking off or anything like that, but definitely inspirations. Jason put it well, from your own life, other people's lives, and things you grew up like. Oh, that's clever. Like even though it's not the same thing in your movie, the way they did it, you could use it.
Yeah, and when I watch horror movies myself, or any movie, but for that matter, if I walk away feeling inspired,
Yes.
That's one of my factors in liking a movie is like, no, that really inspired me. I want to go write. I want to go do something, not write what I just saw, but it got me motivated because I liked the energy of something, or I liked the feeling I got from something, or the direction. So, and here's what I could take it over here and make it different. And
I'm a big M. Night Shyamalan fan. So if like Roseblood has a lot of that, and Laugh will have some of that. I love twists, and I love little hidden things. And then at the end, I love when you can go back and watch The Thing. I've watched that thing 1,000 times. You can go back and watch a movie 5, 10, 15 times, pick up new things and learn. I love that whole angle of storytelling. That's always been my favorite.
And speaking of bringing up Thing, which was all time favorites, probably one of the greatest horror movies ever made.
Greatest movie ever.
Yeah, and it did a great job with character development, which not all horror movies do a great job of. I mean, especially in the '80s when I grew up with the slashers, you didn't give two shits about the characters. They were just something that was in the way for Jason or whoever. But like, I'm starting to see a little bit more now that horror movie filmmakers are starting to do a little more character development. They're letting you know who the characters are. They're letting you have a feeling, whether you hate them, like them, something. Is that something that you make where in your movies as well, that when you're making them, you're like, damn, I need to develop these characters so that people, when they watch them, they have some kind of feeling about them?
100%. It's something. So I've always said, with my movies, I like a little bit of comedy and a little bit of horror, a little bit of sadness, because I like that roller coaster. I want to put someone on an emotional roller coaster the whole time and make them feel all the things, not just one flat line of tension or one flat line of gore. And so I try to put some sort of backstory or some sort of character attribute on each person so that you care if they die, or you really want them to die and then they don't, or it's even as simple as someone being funny and the comic relief, and then they die. You're like, no, I wanted more of him. It makes you wish they didn't die. And with Snow White, there was a character that happened to die in the middle of the movie, and Cody came back to me and he's like, nah. I'm like, what? How could you not care about this? Like, well, we don't even talk about him again for the rest of the movie, so the story knows he doesn't matter, And so it's one of those things where I'm like, you're right. And so you go back there and you make that matter more and make it matter to other characters. You tie it in more. So taking that back to having the amazing team of writers and directors, it really helps us to build those characters and make you care for them. And you can't care for every character because you don't have the time. And if you do, you sit there and people go, well, where's the gore? Where's the killing? Where's the stuff? I'm here for the blood. And then you have too much blood. You got people go, well, I didn't care about any of these people. So you got to find the right balance of character development within a short amount of time to make you want them to die or not.
1,000%. So like Rosebud's the best example I have because that's the first one I did. So every character, I had a character board, and what do I want to feel about that person? I always wanted young Tina to be like a mother figure. She saw Rose in herself. She was in that spot, and no matter what she did wrong, she was a mother. Oh my God, you're covered with blood. Oh, it's not my blood. Oh, that's okay, honey. That's okay. And I always wanted Rose. Like, and it's great when I do a poll, it's like 60-40. Was Rose good or was Rose bad? I always wanted her like that. I wanted David McMahon to be lovable, but you still kind of think he's a scumbag, but it's not his fault because it's the military's fault. Like that's hard. You see it, but then you have to write it in and make it all come out. There was always like those points. It's easy for me to be the bad guy and the Fast team to be the badasses and Jason to be bad, but you have to intertwine those other main characters in there. And then the people who backed the film that were in it, I just always gave them the nostalgia roles, like they were playing Super Mario or Tecmo or stuff like that. So I figured those parts wouldn't be as boring because it'd be like nostalgia throwbacks. Yeah.
Because I mean, one of the big things I had issues with Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, which everybody says what they love, but like as someone who watched that movie, I did not care a fuck about any of those characters. It was just they were like there was no great movie, gore, characters, so forth, but like the characters, I didn't care either way about any of them.
Yeah, I had a great scream. I just watched it. I had a great Scream vibe to it. I think you care more about the way the killer is going to kill somebody more than anybody else. I think that it was like the Godzilla. Like you followed him more than anybody else, right? Yeah, yes. I get what you're saying. It's not easy, but Scream just did it masterful, so it's really hard to stop that. Yeah, but I like the movie. I like the movie a lot.
Yeah, it was good. I just didn't care about the characters. I was like, this is a movie that I couldn't watch over and over again.
Yeah, you know the other thing, Travis, is we're getting older. We really don't care about young kids anymore either. I think that's I know, right? I think that's part of it too.
I think that's what it is. I 100% agree.
Yeah. Yeah, like we don't talk like that. What are they doing? You know, it's just
fucking assholes. You can fucking die. Yeah. Peter, I'm gonna ask you this question first, and then I'm gonna shoot it to Jason. Peter, what is one characteristic strength about Jason that you don't have that you wish you had? That you're like, wow, I'm jealous of that.
That's the toughest question ever because he probably has 9 out of 10 that are better than mine. Characteristic, so not skill set. Characteristic,
skill set, anything.
His patience is very
strength.
His patience and always willing to see the better side of a bad situation. That is. Well, I don't think anybody you interview wouldn't say that. That's by far his strength, 100%. Now, he might be wrong 1 out of 100, but he's probably right 99 out of 100. Taking a really bad situation or somebody being an asshole or anger or a problem on set or whatever it is, being calm, sitting back, and then addressing it in a calm. And not only that, I'm not easy to talk to, and he's gotten better over the years on it. Like he knows exactly what to say, how to say it in a calming way to like calm down the bull. He's got the red cape and he just like calms it down. So 1000% that's his strength with me. But I mean, you could ask 10 different people what his strength are. I bet you'll get 10 different answers.
Amazing. And Jason, back to you about Peter.
I mean, there's a lot. There's one, I admire his ability to shut people down and kick people out who step on them. And because being the nice guy, being that you get walked on sometimes, and I've just never been able to be that person. But his organization, his attention to detail, his ability to push through over hard things. Like I do it too, but I feel like Peter just like I kind of tiptoe and like crawl my way through, like on my belly under the razor wire, and I feel like Peter just plows his freaking way through the razor wire like a bull. When it's like, this is hard. No, it's not. We're doing it. This is what's happening, and so I think that we all get better together because we all help push each other. But all those things, is perseverance, for sure. In organization, attention to detail, and writing thank you notes. I suck at it.
I'll remind you too. Hey, I'll send a thank you card. Like, did you get a thank you card? I didn't hear anything back. Stuff like that.
Thank you card. I haven't gotten one. I don't know. Yeah, it was
I'm so appreciative. I'm so appreciative of like things that we have and people that I have. I'm old school with the thank you cards. I feel like it just means more when you handwrite it than just saying thanks to someone. I don't know.
I agree.
That is something. That's another thing. Like it's whole category on its own is Peter's gratitude. I mean, he will send everybody on set a thank you card for being there, personalized, not just like here print, send it, but like thank you for this specific thing, and here's how you made my production better, and taking care of people and sending them stuff. And when they lose somebody or they lose a pet or a family member, he's the first one there to send flowers or send a card and let you know that he's thinking of you. And when you're in the hospital, even if it's somebody who hasn't been good to him, he will be like, I care about your health, I care about your family, and I know that what you're going through is hard. And that is very admirable to me. It's people say I'm a nice guy, but he's got these tendencies that I don't even do, that go beyond that. So
thank you. I'm only. So thank you very much, but I'm only like that to the people that I really care about. So I'm a nice guy, I would say, to those people, but outside of that, no. yeah. I don't have time. I don't have time to deal with it.
We come full circle back to the blocking people out.
Yeah. What happened to that guy? Oh, fuck that guy. I blocked him. Not to mention firing people. I mean, almost, we won't say names, but I mean, right 3-4 weeks before this, I fired like 2 major characters and another guy and another guy. It's just, if you're not part of that team atmosphere, I don't want you,
Yeah, you're like a no drama person. Someone's coming in saying, drama. You're like, nope, don't got time. Everyone else is fine. Go.
Yeah, I think it's from football. Like, because in football, there's 11 of us, and you can't be a diva. Like, I mean, you can in the NFL, but not, here. It's like all of us have to. If one guy misses a block or one guy misses an assignment on defense, we fail. You know what I'm saying? I think it always can't. And I don't got time to argue with you and your attitude and all this bullshit. It's just not going to work.
So I never asked any filmmaker this question. He brought up something that I've never heard a filmmaker say. So I always assume that actors and actresses, not all, but a portion of them are divas. They're smart asses. They're assholes. As a filmmaker, is that tough to deal with? Like, are you able to identify them and just get them the fuck out? Or do sometimes you just, okay, they're perfect for this role, I'm just going to shut my mouth and just go along with this?
I'll let you go, Jason.
They're not always easy to identify because everyone right up front is always like, oh, this is great, I'm excited, or whatever. And then it's when you are, neck deep in bookings and flights and hotels and payments, and it's like you have no way out at that point is when it starts to show. And it's like, why wasn't I upgraded? Why don't I have this? Why aren't I that? This is just, whatever. Well, everyone else is having the time of their life. And that's kind of when it shows. But it's so rare. It is so rare. And what I find it's oftentimes, at least for my experience, it's not the seasoned people who've been doing it, who have earned the diva status. And it's not the new people. It's the people who are fairly new and have a little bit of success and they want to be seen as successful. Or maybe they've had a taste of success in the past and they want to have it back. So it's, for the most part, anyone. Terry Kaiser is a perfect example. Gracious, super gracious person. Darcy DeMoss, like all the people we've worked with have been phenomenal. These actors, and
you would think Terry was an extra on set.
Yeah,
he's so happy he is to be there.
Yeah. Talking with everyone. We got PAs who kept telling me stories about their interactions with Tom McLaughlin, Terry Kaiser, whatever. Like, I can't believe he just sat down at lunch with me and just talked to me like a normal person and told me stories. And these people they're amazing. And it's really just people. I mean, I had a person who was playing a side character in Vengeance 2 who didn't even matter. They could have been written out. And we asked them to bring their own wardrobe for the thing because they're kind of a background extra person. And they were like, if you want me in this, and you're going to have to pay, like, you reached out to me and begged me to be in this. What are you talking about? And I'm putting you in and stuff. And then now they want all this stuff. And, I don't know. But there's not a lot. It's not a lot. Everyone I've worked with, in my experience, on my sets, the people that we've chosen have been gracious and wonderful.
I definitely had worse luck, Jason. You got to admit that. And man, I go out of my way to thank people, to pay a lot more money than most people do, to put them in really nice hotels, to give them cars, to promote them. I fired 5 people with 3 weeks to go before Rosebud. I fired 3 people with 5 days to go, including young Tina. Oh, that was 3 weeks. Sorry, she was 3 weeks, but other people were 3 days. And you'll eat, or the movie's done, and you'll bring them to the premiere. You'll put them in interviews. I made pops for all them. All the characters got their own pops, and then somebody would be like, "Why wasn't I in the trailer? Why am I not on the poster? Why is everybody talking about Jason Brooks?" Well, because it's a fucking Friday 13th movie. Of course they're going to talk about him, and they'll get like mad with you about that. And I'll be super nice again, and super nice again, and super nice again. And then they're such a bad person. It's not even like a business thing. You're just an unappreciative bad person. I just have no tolerance for that, and I'm just going to end up flipping out. So I just get rid of them. It seems to happen with me a little bit more, but Jason's right. It's the people who think they're a little bit, they're here and they think they're here and they want a little more. The people up here that we get the stars are the best ever.
Yeah. It's crazy that it works way. You would think it'd be the complete opposite.
Yeah. You would. It's surprising sometimes.
And the lesser people or extras, they're so happy to be on set and see the stars. They're like super happy.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we're saying. While we're filming, the Snow White trailer. We had a couple of us sitting around while we're waiting for some things to happen. It was 6 degrees outside. We're all staying warm and whatever. But we were talking to some people who've been doing it for a while. It's like you can always tell who the new people are to film, or the new and upcoming people are, who the seasoned people are, because the seasoned ones will be there having a good time, talking to people, reading a book, doing whatever, while the new people are like, I've been here for 2 hours. What's going on? What are we doing? And it's like, have you never been on a set?
Yeah.
Hurry up and wait. There's lighting, it's costumes, wardrobe, makeup. There's all these things that happen, and there's an order to it. And but the people who are like, I've been here. I got things to do. Well, you're here for the day.
Right.
You'll get on screen. And anyway, but yeah, and like Peter said, it's never the people up here. It's the ones who are, new to it, or getting a taste of that success, or have had it and want you to know that they are amazing.
I'll give you one more example. On Rosebud, Sean Lutzis, like where we shot in the building, literally, ask Jason, next door is a guest house and this huge tent outside that's heated, that's all food and snacks and drinks and catered 3 times a day, and everything's there. And Jason, remember the story that came out recently? There was a character in Rosebud. So you literally would open a door, walk 20 feet, 15 feet, and then go in and get the food, right? And heated. And he's on set. He doesn't know any of us, doesn't know any of my staff or crew. And he was turning to my crew and be like, hey, go get me a protein bar right now. Go get me this or that. And they're like, you go get it. You know what I'm saying? Just to come in on set, not know anybody, and just try to boss people around when you're being paid to be there is just crazy. I think it's more like a manners thing. I think it's more like people aren't really raised well anymore. I think that's part of it too.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. And we're sounding old now, but listen.
Get off
I just be honest, because if I just imagine myself saying that, and a hand would be flying in the air from my mom or dad, like at the same time.
Exactly.
Saying that. Yeah.
Exactly.
No way. You remember when we used to go to the grocery store or somewhere in the mall, and almost every time you went out, you saw a kid get beat, and you just kind of shut up because you were glad it wasn't you? Right?
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And kids don't get ass whipped at all now anymore.
No.
It's only timeouts. Yep.
Yeah.
I got lucky. My kids are awesome.
Yeah.
I could probably less than one handful of times have been in trouble for something, in their entire lives, and they're like 18 and 24 now. So
that's amazing.
How about the mental aspect? Do you remember this phrase? So kids cry, right? Back when we cried, it was seen as like a weakness thing back then. Today, when kids cry, they're like, what's wrong? Do you remember this phrase? You would cry somewhere in the store, and your mother would go, keep crying. I'll give you something to cry about.
Yeah,
all the time. And you just shut up right then. You know what I'm saying?
Because parents saw that as embarrassing to them.
Yes. That you were
to be crying up in the store, because it makes them look like they're a fucking bad parent or something.
Yes. Yeah.
But yes, and now it's all about emotions and cry all as much as you want to. Yes.
And dude, my mom was 100 pounds, like no joke, a Spanish lady, and she'd look at me like she wanted to fucking kill me, And she couldn't like stop me and my brother, so she'd just hit us with like rubber fly swatters and stuff all the time. It was crazy. But then all she had to do is just say, "I'm going to tell your father when he gets home," and we just that was it. Yeah.
Also too, I didn't have to get my ass whipped, or I didn't have to. My parents would just give me a look in public, and I knew to stop whatever the fuck I was doing, like instantly stop. And it was, I want to say it was fear, but yeah, it was a little bit of fear, and it was fear, and like I just feel like a lot of parents. I mean, today a lot of kids don't fear their parents; they see their parents as their best friend or friends.
Yeah, I think when I grew up with just real quick, I know we're off subject, but my dad, we kind of went at it, because we're like alpha personalities. And then like once you get to like your later 20s, you realize your dad was right. And then when you get into your 30s, that's when he became like my best friend. And not only that, we both kind of calmed down a little. But I think you almost need that. You don't have to be, you can't be his best friend all the time. You got to be a role model.
Right. You got to be a father, not a friend. Yeah.
Right. And they'll get it. If you do it right, they'll get it when they're older,
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, Peter, first, where can everyone find you?
So it's Peter Anthony, the Peter Anthony, I think on Instagram, Peter Anthony Productions on Facebook, Peter Anthony on Facebook, thepeteranthony.com. I'm uploading that stuff now for Laugh there, and Rosebud and stuff there. IMDb, Peter Anthony, pretty much Peter Anthony everywhere.
And Jason?
And I'm pretty much the Jason Brooks official, or the Jason Brooks everywhere. Or you can go to realfictionstudios.com. All of our links should be there.
Awesome. Now, if you go down into the description as well, I hope this is fine, but I'm going to have the trailers to Laugh, and also...
My trailer's not out yet. Not coming out till February 13th.
Okay. So the information, how to get the...
Yeah.
The death of Snow White.
Okay. The death of Snow White.
Yeah.
Please do.
Okay. All right, guys, listen, it's been a blast. By the way, Peter, I've been trying to get you on my show for a while, man, but we just
every time he goes to get me, Jason, I get the flu, I got COVID, my knee goes out, like it's just a nightmare. Yeah. Thank you. Great questions, by the way. We've never been asked that question. What do we see in each other? That was a great question.
Yeah, that's a new one. We've done hundreds of these things, and it's the first time.
Yeah.
Yes. And by the way, once again, I say this all the time: no script. I just got you guys' names and the titles of your movie.
I like it, man.
Nice.
Yes.
You're like that server. We used to go out with places and there'd be like 10 of us, and the server would never write it down. I'd be like, bro, don't mess it up. And some of them are real good. They don't need to write it down. Yeah.
That's not
I
me.
prefer having a conversation. Like I hate watching interview channels, and it's like, oh, so what's next? And what? I prefer having a conversation more than an interview.
Oh, yeah. I literally had one interview. I was on the set of Snow Falls, and I took an interview there while I was on break. And they literally said, okay, Jason Brooks, we have questions for you. Question number 1, what was it like playing Jason Voorhees?
Yeah.
And I go, okay, thank you. Question number 2, what was it like? And I'm like, what? They literally went down 10 questions, naming and numbering the questions. Like, holy cow.
Yeah.
That is...
I've seen a lot of them, and I'm like, this is.
It happened here with us today, Travis. When I do a podcast once in a while, and sometimes what I want to get to, we just go somewhere else, and it just worked out, like us with the parent thing or something else like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I hate asking the same questions over and over. It's just so stupid.
Yeah, it's better to have. Listen, I'm going to say this to any. I've been doing this for less than a fucking year, by the way. So I'm brand new at it, but. I am like the trailblazer because I've seen so many other podcasts and have come out since I've been doing this, and I'm flattered because I'm a pioneer now, and I've seen so many, and it's like I can watch it, and because I like to support every horror creator, so I watch podcasters who do the same thing I do. But I'm watching. I can see that they're reading off a script. I can just feel it. It just doesn't feel like a natural conversation. And I just want to let everyone know. Listen, if you want to know how to do it, don't have a script. Just talk.
Right. Hey, are you going to any cons this year? Well, I'll run into you.
A whole shitload. I'm going to the Monster Manias. Yep, going to the one in. I live in Baltimore, so I'm going to the one in Baltimore, of course.
I'll be in New Jersey.
Well, I'll be the one in New Jersey and Cherry Hill as well.
Bro, I got a suite there 3 days, me and my boy. So we'll party.
Text me. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, are you in Jersey?
No, I'm in Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be out there for that for the Connecticut horror convention too.
I'll have a table.
I'm gonna be doing a lot of fucking horror conventions
I'll have a
here
table
for
there,
my
man.
channel. So
Yeah.
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 you're
Connecticut
gonna
Horror
be the
Fest.
one in Atlantic City as well.
Hartford. Oh, Atlanta. No, I'm just going to Monster Mania, the Connecticut Horror Fest in Hartford now, and I'm going to Silver Scream Con in Massachusetts.
Okay.
Silver Scream is Ice Nine Kills. It's their one. It's awesome. I was with Terry Kaiser last year.
Nice.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might
So,
have that
that was
on
like
my list.
dream come true for me. That was awesome. Awesome show.
So, by the way, if anybody doesn't know, like with my channel, I am going to be doing 10 horror conventions a year. So I'm going to be doing walkthrough videos of 10 different horror conventions a year. So this year, you might see a couple repeat ones, but you're going to see a lot of new ones.
Awesome.
If you ever head out towards the Seattle Crypticon, let me know.
I most definitely will. I'm closest to Seattle. I think I'm going to be will be Arizona. I'm going to be at Mad Monster, Arizona.
Yeah, Mad Monster, Arizona, man. I went there once with Kane. That was awesome, dude.
Isn't that the one where we?
Yeah, Jason. I was there when Jason called or texted me to become part of the team for Vengeance. That's where it was, dude.
Nice.
It was 114 degrees there. I went to we were partying. I went to my room at night and I looked at the TV and it said 100, and I was like, oh, channel 100, whatever. It was the temperature on the TV at 12 midnight. It was 100 degrees. I was like, holy.
I've never been to Arizona, but I hear it's hot as shit there.
It is hot as shit over there. Yeah. Like you better put some waters in your car in case you break down or something, you know? Yeah.
I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone because I have two baseball stadiums to see. I have to see the Rockies and the Diamondbacks, and I've seen every baseball stadium. So like I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone.
You been to the new Yankee Stadium one?
I have. I'm a diehard Yankees fan.
Oh, bro! I've been to every World Series since I've been old.
Oh, Yanks, man.
Yeah, man. I had season tickets for 7 years.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Nice. I hope they can put it together, man.
Real quick, I snuck in a camcorder Jeter's last game. I have it on YouTube. I'll send you the link. Me and my dad have recorded his hit.
So I was at Rivera's last game.
I was there too.
I had the ticket and everything. I got the picture, everything, but they gave him the guitar, everything. It was awesome.
Yeah, go Yanks.
Yes, go Yanks. All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
As all of my interviews do, they go on a rant, but they're fun rants. So that's what's important. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to the Horror Realm. I'm Travis Bruce. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.